Okay, let's see if that. Beautiful. Pretty sure I can see me. Hello, we're live streaming. Awesome. I'm just going to stop that. And stop the video. All right. All right, everybody. I don't think you're watching on the stream just yet, but if you are watching on YouTube, just bear with us. We'll be getting started shortly. Okay, let me just get our communication channel. And then if everyone can come on video, that'd be great. Swati, you could just be in the background, but it'd be great, Diksha and Chris, if you can come on now. Just close this. Perfect. And awesome. Just make sure. Oops. Into a good reach. Okay. Awesome, everybody. Yeah, I'll respond to that after, Swati. Just give me a second. Yeah. All right, sounds good. I got that message. All right. So I'm going to start the webinar. So we'll be letting people in, and then I'll give the signal as to when we want to kick off.
You'll do the count in?
Yeah, we're going to count in now. Yeah. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But you need to start right away because people are just going to be flowing in. So 3, 2, 1. Actually, one more thing. I'm going to start the recording after 5 seconds of letting people in. So it catches the first part of your good morning and welcome. Okay.
And when you want me to start speaking, you can give the "and we're live" or something like that. Just
sounds good.
Say something that I know you want me to go. Okay.
Perfect.
Cool.
Okay. So we'll start that guy. Awesome. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining in. We will be getting started momentarily. We're just going to allow for everyone to flow in. Perfect. All right, give us a second here. All right, we are now live.
Good morning, everyone.
We still have folks rolling in, but Chris, feel free to jump in whenever you're ready to start.
Great. Good morning, everyone. Good evening to everyone in India, and welcome to Together 2023. It's our 3rd year of our collaboration with Startup India, the Government of India, and the Schulich School of Business, working with hundreds of student entrepreneurs from across India, students and recent grads, on their companies and concepts, and helping them to boost them up, bring them to life, get to the next level. We're really excited to be here with you. You know, in this last couple of years, we have now helped. I was doing the math earlier this morning, this evening for those of you in India, and at the end of this year, this program, we will have worked with more than 300 Indian student and grad startups to give them that opening boost and get them out of the gate, many of which have gone on to become champions with us each of the years and get additional support and financial prizing to go along the path. We've also now, at the end of this program, will have trained more than 1,000 Indian and Canadian students on the initiative and how to support and work with each other in really this spirit of global collaboration. I'm excited to welcome, and I'll turn over in just a moment, to my friend and colleague from Startup India, Diksha, but just a few words about the program itself and the spirit of where it's coming from. It's really been a collaboration that was born in the heart, in some of the darkest times of the pandemic, where the two organizations reached out to each other and conceived of the idea of coming together. And as opposed to many startup initiatives that you might see in the community that are competitions where everybody's out to undo each other and scramble their way to the top. The idea here was, what if the Schulich School of Business brought its best and most promising master's students alongside its ecosystem of trainers and professors and alumni and startup ecosystem leaders and venture capitalists, and came to work and contribute and collaborate towards the startups in India, the student startups, all keeping the commercialization, the intellectual property, and the full ownership and control of those companies in India with the students and with the people of India where they belong. You know, we have a special relationship between our two countries built over many years of trust and partnership. And this is just an example, this program, of that spirit and that collaboration. So we're so happy to be here with everyone today. For those of you who don't know and have not met me yet, I'm Chris Carter. I am the Executive Director of the Office of Innovation and Entrepreneurship at the Schulich School of Business. I'm a longtime entrepreneur and investor myself, and at Schulich lead the Schulich Startups community, which is 200 plus student and alumni companies and a community of venture capitalists all working together to unlock new innovations and possibilities out there in the world to build a better world together. At Schulich, we are the #1 ranked MBA in Canada by The Economist, by Forbes, Corporate Knights, and CNN Expansion. And if you didn't know, we also have our own campus in India, in Hyderabad. And today, we actually have one of my classes in a class called Bringing Business Ideas to Life, which has specifically been put together to support this program and work with the students in India with their startups. And the class are there in India right now. They're having a launch party. I hope they can see me right now on the screen, and they're having a fun time. Apparently it was, they had a good event leading up to it. And my co-instructor, Shrey, is there with them right now. So welcome to the entire class, and we're excited to have you here. Welcome to all the founders who have applied for Together and are going to be joining us through the boot camp coming up. Diksha, I'm really excited to be here with you today. You've been doing such great work and working hard behind the scenes, you, the whole team, and you're here to represent them today and represent Startup India. And I just wanted to welcome you as our partner and ask for your thoughts as we kick off Together 2023.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for the wonderful welcome and beautifully summarizing the background on the program. Hello, everyone. Hope all of you are doing great. I would like to thank all the speakers, participants, and everyone who has joined us today for the launch program of Together 2023. My name is Deeksha, and I'm a senior manager with the Startup India team at Invest India. To give you a little background, Startup India is a flagship initiative of the Government of India intended to catalyze the startup culture and build a strong and inclusive ecosystem for innovation and entrepreneurship in the country. As a part of the initiative, startups recognized by the department become eligible for various incentives like tax exemptions, IPR support, access to funds, relaxation in public procurement norms, etc. In addition to this, the team works across different verticals and with different stakeholders to provide market access opportunities, showcase and networking opportunities to both startups and aspiring entrepreneurs. Our collaboration with the Schulich School of Business has been one of the key partnerships, and this is the 3rd edition that we're doing together. And I hope we complete it with great success, just like the previous 2 editions. With this, I would like to thank everyone again for joining us today. We have an amazing lineup of guest speakers, the Counsel General, the MD and CEO of Invest India, the Dean of Schulich School of Business, followed by a few words of inspiration and an experience sharing session by the past participants. Over to you, Chris.
Wonderful. Thank you, Diksha. Well, while we're rallying our opening speakers and guests in the background, and thank you for going through some of our special guests. As you said, we have some honorable guest speakers that are joining us, and then we'll have some key words of inspiration from members of the business community, and then inviting some of the past participants to join us as well too, which is great. Now we are. I thought while we're building up to that and waiting to get the guests organized in the background, we could talk a little bit for everybody and tell people about a little bit of the story and what led us here. And there's like a deeper background, and that was how this program was born and how we came together. And really, it was like a moment where I had to come and visit your beautiful country and to visit a class from a few years ago at Hyderabad with the students. And in that visit and in that tour, I also had the opportunity to meet with Mr. Ratan Tata, who's a member of our advisory board with the Schulich School of Business in India. And as everyone would know or can imagine, it was a meeting that would leave an impression on any person, and it left a deep impression on me. And when the pandemic started to unfold, I felt that through that meeting and some of the things that we had discussed, a real sense of duty to work with the students in India and make sure that they were well taken care of in the pandemic. And this led to a number of different initiatives, programs that we were blessed enough to have Startup India and Invest India see and recognize. And then you were kind enough to reach out and to connect with us. And so it really was a beautiful organic thing that developed and brought us together. Yeah, I'm really excited now to introduce our first guest today, our first special honorable guest speaker. And this is someone who has been a tireless, wonderful, dedicated champion to Together 2023 from the very first days when we got started. And when we reached out to different members of the community and asked for their support, it was the Consul General of India here in Toronto, and who put up her hand and said that she would like to help. The Consul General is a career diplomat, having joined the Indian Foreign Service in 2001. And prior to being appointed India's Consul General in Toronto, Canada, she worked with the Minister of External Affairs from January 2017 to August 2019. And in her 19-year diplomatic career, she has served twice in the Indian Embassy in Paris from August 2003 to October 2006, and again from August 2012 to July 2015. In her time here with us, she has been a blessing and a force for light and good and happiness and partnership in the Toronto community and in the wider Canadian community. And we're happy to welcome her here today to share her thoughts and a few words on Together 2023.
Thank you, Chris. Namaskar, everybody. Good morning and good evening. What a pleasure and honor to be part of the Together series for the consecutive third year. This program has grown from strength and scale, and it's contributing significantly to the growing India-Canada innovation partnership. I very clearly remember the day my first chat with Chris about this event, and of course we were all very excited about it, but we never thought it will grow to such an extent, and it's kudos to the whole team, and my best wishes for continuous sessions every year. I have to thank Chris Carter, the Executive Director of Innovation and Entrepreneurship at Schulich School, and his team for putting together this wonderful event for last 3 years. I would like to also thank the partners, mentors, advisory councils, program managers, and various corporate entities both in India and in Canada who are supporting and contributing to this event. And the theme for this year, self-reliability, sustainability, and social purpose. This is highly relevant and shows the commitment of the organizers to use this forum to address the contemporary social problems through technological interventions. These initiatives are really important as they help us to formalize innovative ideas and transform them into lucrative business models with the great opportunities to serve humankind. I'd also like to thank here Startup India and Invest India for their partnership and for support. And it has been real pleasure. As I finish my 3 years in Canada and move on to my next assignment, I think it has been a pleasure working both with Startup India and with Schulich Business School in this wonderful initiative. I'm sure people will tell you, but India today is the third largest startup ecosystem with like more than 77,000 recognized startup across 656 districts in the country, and 1 out of each 10 unicorn is born globally is from India. And this innovation is not just limited to certain sectors. It's across sectors, across cities, and not only metros, but in different levels. And this growth in startup ecosystem is driven by thriving digital payment ecosystem, large smartphone user base, and digital first business model. And the world is admiring the strides made by India in digital payments, be it governance or the growth of physical and digital infrastructure. India is working at a completely different level as far as digital payment is concerned. I believe going forward, fintech, SAS, and e-commerce will continue to grab the bulk of investments. With the next 500 million investments, internet users coming from the smaller cities, this growth is the growth of digital business is just going to grow from here. As far as Canada is concerned, it has a very strong and diverse startup ecosystems. I have visited several universities during my stay in Canada, and most of the universities I have seen are very strong startup innovation centers. Canada is world leader in science, technology, and innovation, and is recognized as one of the most innovative and competitive economies in the world. The market dynamics prevalent in India's ecosystem are capable of offering abundant opportunities for startups. And I'm sure there's an enormous scope for these two countries to come together and create innovative solutions for the global problems. And in this context, Together 2020 series of 21, 22, 23 is definitely a critically important sectors with huge potential for collaboration and trade development. As this program unveils, I strongly believe that it will create numerous opportunities for all participating members to contribute significantly to India-Canada Innovation Partnership, and will also, give a lot of students exposure to this ecosystem of both the countries. I mean, even if they don't participate, but just the sheer knowledge, just the sheer buzz about this event will educate a lot of students to think about coming to this sector maybe in next 2-3 years. So I wish all students, partners, and mentors all the very best in their endeavors, and my best wishes for successful of this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Your words are truly inspiring. I would now like to welcome our mentor and guide, Mr. Deepak Bagla, MD and CEO, Invest India. Mr. Bagla has a professional career of over 3 decades with World Bank, Citibank, and private equity, having responsibilities across Europe, Africa, and Asia. He's currently the Managing Director and CEO of Invest India, the national investment promotion and facilitation agency promoted by the Government of India, and is the President of the Geneva-based World Association of Investment Promotion Agencies, with membership of 105 countries. He's also a special invitee of the Prime Minister's Science, Technology, and Innovation Advisory Council. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Diksha. And I must congratulate you and Chris. You guys have done a phenomenal job. And Madam Consul General, we just can't believe that you're saying that it's going to be the end of your 3 years term. We'd love that if you just stay on, because it's actually the three of you. You are the pillars of the success of this program. And before anything, Chris, I must tell you, you bring the energy here. It's always, and I told you that even last time, that smile, that energy which you have brought into this program, and you can see the actual success of it. It's truly one of the most gratifying engagements we've been working with. You know, you had the Madam Consul General give you some idea as to what is happening in India where this is concerned. You know, our leaders are currently in G20 in Bali. And I've just got back, and one of the main discussions points we had there from the investment promotion side of it was that how we're going to see how we can get the partnerships on startup and innovation happening together. And even Diksha mentioned about the platform, the World Association of Investment Promotion Agencies. So what we are trying to do on that platform is to bring all our countries together and actually create a digital platform for all the startups which are here, so that you can access each of these countries with a click of a button. We are, Diksha, I must mention to them that last year in India, we added a unicorn every 9 days. That's not just because of the market opportunity which is available in India, but also the ease of access to get to that market opportunity. Madam Consul General mentioned to you about the digitization. What I'm now looking for, and each one of you is now the maker and the architect of the new world. The next set of unicorns will come out from the small little screen you're watching in front of you today. And that is what we all are looking for. You are not here only as a startup. Each one of you is giving us a solution to a challenge which we are all grappling with. And the thing here is that the challenges which you are bringing are not just for Canada and for India, but their entire world is looking at those results. And what we at Invest India are trying to do is that whenever you bring that solution, how do we take it to the world to showcase your solutions? And we assure you we will do that. I mean, it's so interesting. This is the third session we've had on this one. Look at the first two, the kind of results have been really impactful. We started with 100, 150 entrepreneurs and innovators from each side. We have about 200 of them this side. But what is really interesting is that you have some of the best known mentors, both in the business and outside, which have now partnered and joined this movement. This has now actually taken shape of a different dimension. And I must congratulate each one of you who's with us today, who've joined this journey. And I must tell you, we all are looking forward anxiously to see the kind of impact you're going to bring, which is going to change our world and our future. And here I really must thank Vito and Kevin, and also Kumar, Abhishek, and Sumir, and Sultan Akif, all of you, for your leadership, for your guidance, to have the continued success of this one. And Chris, continue with the energy which you bring to us. We need it every which way. Thank you very much again for having me. And let me tell you, on behalf of Invest India and Startup India, it's an absolute pleasure to be a part of this journey. Thank you, Diksha. Thank you, Chris. Back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Bagla, and thanks for joining us this morning. I always say, and it has never changed, you're the inspiration and the straw that stirs the drink, as they say. And you keep us going and keep us supported. Your team, and you know this because you appreciate them, and I hear it from you when we speak, your team is phenomenal, fantastic, tireless, creative, and they bring so much energy, and they're a joy and a pleasure to work with. And that keeps us going. So thank you for your support and everything that they do for us every year and your words of inspiration this morning. We will do our best in the weeks and months ahead to bring you some really interesting companies that will make you proud.
Namaskar. Thank you.
Now we're excited to move on to our next speaker, and that is a good friend of mine from the Schulich School of Business, Kevin Tassa, the Associate Dean of the Schulich School of Business, Associate Dean Academic. And Kevin has many different important roles and a long history within our school. He's an associate professor of organizational behavior. He's led and served as the program director for the Master of Management program, which has a really interesting entrepreneurial stream within it. And he also has received the MBA Teaching and Excellence Awards at both McMaster and Schulich as well too, because in addition to all his leadership on the administrative side, he's one dynamite professor and someone who I personally look up to and aspire to learn from as I go along. He's also the co-author of two widely used textbooks, Essentials of Negotiation and Canadian Organizational Behavior. And we're happy to have him here with us today to bring greetings on behalf of the school and the dean. Welcome, Kevin.
Thank you, Chris. I really appreciate that. Happy to be here to represent the school. We're very excited, very proud to play a part in this year's much bigger and much bolder competition. Definitely inspired by our school's deep connections to India. This, of course, has been made possible through the invaluable assistance of the India Advisory Council, excuse me, including Council Member Ratan Tata. I've been hearing a lot from previous participants in this program about how impactful these competitions have been, and I am continuously inspired by what this event is doing for our students, both here and across the globe. The event is, I guess I would describe it as the embodiment of global citizenship and cross-border collaboration. And I think it represents the future of business and how we work together. It is fantastic to see it here in practice for Together 2023. And if I could tell a little personal anecdote. So I am married to a woman who was born in India. So I believe that I have the embodiment of cross-border collaboration and have done so for about 23 years successfully, I might add. So I wish you that same spirit as well for everyone watching today or participating today. The entrepreneurial spirit at Schulich has never been stronger. The Schulich School of Business has created numerous entities to bolster that. And one of the things that Chris mentioned earlier is that we have a Master of Management program that has a stream in entrepreneurship within it, and Chris has been instrumental in helping to steer that through. And the only problem we have with that program is that it is too popular. So probably no surprise to any of you who are here. Our Office of Innovation and Entrepreneurship is creating programs and entrepreneurship opportunities just like today's initiative. A few words about entrepreneurship. It is fundamentally about imagination and transformation. It is about imagining new ways of doing things, inventing a new future, and challenging the status quo. And at its core, really at its core, it is about building new types of platforms, new kinds of companies, new ways of doing business. Entrepreneurs can help create a better world, and one that we are definitely striving for in this Together 2023 event. The event brings together hundreds of student entrepreneurs and hundreds of innovation leaders from around the world and is supported by amazing sponsors and partners. Our previous initiatives opened our eyes to the possibilities with passionate Indian entrepreneurs eager to innovate and build startups that succeed. I'm convinced that a new group of entrepreneurs will emerge from this event because of the participation that is going to be going forward for the next several months. I'd like to finish by extending my sincere thanks to Startup India and the government of India and to all the dignitaries present here today, including the Consul General. Thank you, and including Mr. Bagla. We appreciate your participation and continued support of this initiative. And last but not least, thank you to Chris for his endless support of events like this at the school and across borders. We couldn't do it without you. So lastly, the Together Entrepreneurship Bootcamp couldn't exist without the involvement of our student leaders and sponsors. And to all of you, thank you for your participation. We very much appreciate it. And finally, I look forward to seeing the championship finals in February. Best of luck, everyone.
Thanks, Kevin. And Diksha, just before we transition and you give final thanks to Kevin, want to take this moment, since we're talking about the school and talking about our work with the students, to welcome, they're highlighted up on the screen now, the Bringing Business Ideas to Life class from Hyderabad in India, from the Schulich campus there. Everybody, give us a big wave. You're on screen there from the class. Look, there we go. Look at all those smiling, awesome faces. I can't wait to see you in class tomorrow. I know we're having a launch party for Together 2023 tonight. Please don't stay up too late. Please do show up in class tomorrow, ready to go. But Kevin, an opportunity for you to say hi to the students there in India right now.
That classroom looks awfully familiar. I miss that campus. Good luck, everybody.
Thanks, Kevin, and thanks to the class for joining us, and to Shrey, our instructor there, working with me on the program. And this is the class that will form a dedicated 50-person team working to support the startups in Together 2023, bolstered by a set of students from the Canadian campus as well, too. So congratulations, everyone there, for joining the team. And Diksha, over to you for a final thanks to Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin. It has been amazing working with Schulich School of Business over the past 3 editions with Chris, with Vito, and the team. And I just hope we keep working together on more such initiatives, more such programs to promote entrepreneurship. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. Well, we're excited to have our next special guest here today, and that is Kumar Abhishek. Speaking of students, he is a former student of mine who came through the MBA in India program and participated in one of my favorite classes that I teach, the Mentorship Match, it's called, Entrepreneurship 6960 at Schulich. Then he went on to be connected with a wonderful leader in the ecosystem and to become the founder and CEO of a company called Keel. And the company's vision and mission is to make immigration easy and straightforward for people and governments around the world. And Kumar has been a leader within the Schulich startups community and really is a great example of this spirit of partnership, a graduate and alumni of the school who launched a company in partnership with another person in the ecosystem who we met through some of our programs, and now is building that business both in India and in Canada at the same time. The business itself is a bridge between the two countries. So Kumar, welcome to the stage and looking forward to hearing your thoughts.
Thank you so much, Chris, for inviting me. And that's a really heartwarming welcome from you as well. Like, super excited to see people from the Hyderabad campus. Like, it's close to my heart. I've been there, right? So thank you so much for inviting me. Super excited to be here. To all my fellow entrepreneurs here, in the next few minutes, I will not give you any advice, like no advice at all, right? But rather, I would love to share a few of my learnings as a fellow entrepreneur. I hope this inspires you to take up this path and bring some clarity on what lies ahead of you. So one question that essentially is in the mind of everybody who is trying to get into entrepreneurship is entrepreneurship for me, right? So that's an important question. So I would just love to say here, as kids, I have a question for you. As kids, did we ever dream of getting a job for and working for a company that was close to our home so that we could save on our travel time? Right? Probably not, right? I think kids are the most inspired form of human beings on this planet, right? So as kids, we wanted to be everything we could be, dreamt about the impossible, and believed it in our heart, with all our heart, right? That it could be possible, right? But somehow we kind of lose it when we grow older. And there's something interesting about it. As we grow older, we become more smart, and interestingly, being smarter makes us more afraid, right? So it made us more afraid. And we quite often hear it around the world, leaders talking about it, essentially they talk about leadership in the same way, but they say that entrepreneurs are born, not made, right? Personally, I feel that it just limits our beliefs about everything that we can do and more. And so whenever I used to hear this from anyone, I was always filled up with doubts about myself, right? If entrepreneurs are born, am I born to be an entrepreneur? And how do I know if I'm born to be an entrepreneur? What if I'm not? I'm no Mark Zuckerberg, right? So how do I know that? But I like to think it in a different way. I believe that entrepreneurs are not born, but entrepreneurship is born inside an individual, out of the desire to solve a problem that you are passionate about. And if we have the courage to pursue it, we become one. So that's what I feel about it. But how do you know if it's for you? For that, you honestly need to answer these questions that I'm going to tell you, but you need to be super honest with yourself. Don't think about what you would think about it as an entrepreneur. Think about it exactly the way you think about it. So the first question is do you think you enjoy the comfort of someone supervising you and telling you what needs to be done? Or do you enjoy the freedom and the challenge of figuring out the way yourself? Right? If it's the second one, probably you should try it out. Right? The second question is these are the questions that I answered for myself. The second question is, do you have the financial stability to take care of your dependents? If not, I would rather suggest start with a side hustle. Don't get into it completely at a time. The third question that I had was have you figured out a problem that literally keeps you awake? I mean, literally keeps you awake out of excitement of solving it, right? If it actually makes you feel that way, you should probably pursue it. But here's the thing, like not everybody has to aspire to be an entrepreneur, and probably it's not a good fit for everyone as well, right? And so unless you find something that you care about, that you personally care about, there's nothing wrong with working with someone to help them build their business if you resonate with the mission as well. So now that we have some clarity, let's dig into a few lessons that I've learned in the past couple of years. Would love to share it with you. Take it with a pinch of salt. It's not an advice. Like try to take it as a learning from my side. It might apply to you, might not, but it's just something, like take it as a gift from my side. So the first thing is like we need to be aware of our biases. That's super important. Like as entrepreneurs, we sometimes tend to get into the belief that we are our customer. Like we probably are not our customer. Like, and you probably are not your customer. So like if you want to read more about it, read about projection bias, right? So understand, like truly try to understand, is this problem really an important problem to solve? Or is it just me who believes that it's an important problem to solve? To be successful, we need to have an unbiased approach towards the problem, the opportunity, as well as the customer. So like, believe me, like in most cases, we are wrong. Like I have figured it out based on like my own experience. So believe me, in most cases, we are wrong because we don't try to come out of our belief systems and try to figure out the truth. So like we really need to figure out like what truly is the truth of the market, the customer, and the opportunity to be able to do the business in a new and innovative way. Unless until we know that, it's difficult to like break that matrix. Second thing that's super important is sales before tech. So like it's very common among tech entrepreneurs that they want to build the tech first and then go out and do sales. Like I've figured out it's the other way around, right? Even though like I come from a tech background, a lot of bias towards tech, but I would say like sales comes first. Like first, pre-sale your product or service or idea. Like sales comes first, tech comes later. Build the tech based on what you've learned from the market and not based on what you thought was true about the market or the customer or the service, right? So this is the second thing. Third thing that's very common right now on social media is like dropouts make good entrepreneurs, and you really don't need to go to college to be an entrepreneur, right? So when I was like coming for my MBA, like I used to work with startups in India, and then like one of the founders of the company that I left told me like, you don't need an MBA to be an entrepreneur, right? Like people said that, but I have a very different take on it. Yes, you can be successful as a dropout, and honestly, to be successful as an entrepreneur, like it doesn't take up like formal education to become that, right? But education does 100% gives us like an additional power. And I believe as a generation, like one virtue that we are losing out on is patience, right? It's a very important virtue of an entrepreneur. And like I just feel that we need the discipline. We need to have that discipline and discipline our mind to be able to like start learning, and proper training in education gives us that. So it's not like that if you are into an MBA, it doesn't mean you're any less for anything at all to be an entrepreneur. Like these things honestly are just secret weapons. Post that, like another important thing that I got to know in the last year is like nothing is possible. Honestly, like people say this, but it is actually true. Nothing is possible without the right team. And here's the secret, like early on while choosing people, we need to like choose people, essentially try to choose people who are more passionate about solving the problem rather than people who are experts, right? You really don't need experts when you start with, because like you need people who are going to work with you to make it happen, right? So probably inviting people just based on the expertise is not a very good idea. And like once you like, another thing that you need to realize here is like when we start a company, we hire people, and then like while hiring people, we try to make sure we retain them. But once you know that okay, like it's not working out, take care of the mothership. So this is something that I got to know, like learned from Chris. He's one of my mentors as well, right? So he used to say like one important thing in the Venture Mac program, like he was like, focus on the mothership, right? Like mothership should go up, right? So that's the focus. As an entrepreneur, you need to take hard decisions and be ready for it. then the other thing is like test, and test. Like don't believe in like what you think is the truth. Test rigorously, and failures are normal. Like don't take it to your heart. Failures are just like signals on the road. Like when you want to like reach to like school of business, right? Essentially, you need to take turns. So failures essentially are turns that help you understand you don't need to take a left, you need to take a right. Right. So they're just signals telling us which path is the right path, learn from them, and know when to give up on a particular strategy. Don't be like too focused on like too attached to something when you know it's not working out. At the end, I would just say this. I mean, like, find a problem. Like as an entrepreneur, find a problem you want to solve that you're passionate about. Because at the end of the day, honestly, life is about happiness, right? You become an entrepreneur by doing what makes you happy and inspired. Don't be bogged down by the scale of the business. You might just like taking care of pets, right? People might say that, okay, yeah, like it's not a VC fundable business, like something like that, right? But then don't worry about it. Like be ready, but 100% accept the consequences. Like don't be mad that, okay, I did not get the funding for VC there, right? But then be happy because you're doing it. And entrepreneurship isn't just about like raising the next round. And everybody like doesn't have to be the next billionaire, but everybody deserves to be happy. But if you aspire to be a billionaire, go for it. But again, like don't do it for the money, do it for the game. Do it for the game and you'll enjoy the journey. So like that's what I've learned in my stint as an entrepreneur. And like that's what I had to share with you guys. So I wish best of luck to everybody who is here. You'll love the next few days that's coming up. Enjoy the time, learn a lot, and yeah, you'll come out a much better entrepreneur than you were like when you started here. So thank you so much, Chris.
Thank you, Abhishek. Some food for thought for all our participants today, and great learnings that have been shared by you. I think all of our participants will benefit from it. I would now like to welcome our next speakers, the winners of Together 2021, Kunjpreet Kaur and Lokesh Puri Goswami from Team Bricks, now registered as Anchors India Private Limited. The team is working on upcycling non-recyclable waste into building materials such as bricks and paver blocks. Welcome, Kunjpreet and Lokesh.
Hi all.
Hey there, welcome. Excited to have you with us today.
Thank you, Chris.
Hey, we're excited to have you with us and to ask you some key questions and chat with you about your experiences. Really, this is a great opportunity for many of the students who are joining. And also, I think, at this point, just to get the most out of this session, we'll also welcome Olivia Lee, who was our Canadian participant from your team as well here, who's here to speak from the Canadian side. But we'll start with you and your group, and Olivia, a treasured and important member of the Schulich Startups community from the alumni here in Toronto. So just wanted to talk to you in the beginning, like what made you take notice when you saw the opportunity, and what got you to apply for Together 2021 back in the beginning? If you could take us back to that moment.
Sure. Yeah, Chris. Hi, Lokesh this side. So yeah, means I had received a mail from Startup India, and it was the last day of that. Means I was on the deadline, and on that last moment, I had submitted my participation, and after a few days, I got confirmation that I was selected. Means our team was selected for Together 21. So that's how it was started. Means it was just by chance we get in.
Just got in. So like perfect, like, right in. A big part of entrepreneurship is good timing, right?
Yeah, it was around 11:58, which I submitted my. Sure. So this is how it was started. Yeah.
So to all of you who are out there who applied and got your application in right under the wire for this year's competition, you have just as much of a chance as everybody to win. Diksha, I'm going to keep sharing questions. Do you have a question that you would like to ask the team? I'll keep sharing the questions. So I wanted to also turn a question to Kunjpreet, and ask, like, what are your memories from the boot camp? Was there like a moment that you remember or something that you learned that was a key takeaway that was really useful that you can think back to?
Yes, definitely. I think for me, the industrial experts, the founders of unicorns, they were all here for the speaker sessions and learning directly from their startup journeys. Their learning was, I think, the most important takeaway for me. Learning from themselves and how did they came up through the challenges and everything. So that was really great, helpful, and I think I had so many key takeaways from their experiences and learnings.
That's great. Thanks for sharing that, and that those are big moments in the whole program. Hey, Olivia, welcome. And what do you remember about meeting the team? Like, as one of the Schulich students who was coming to help out and participate, we got a reunion going here for you. Like, what do you remember about those moments of like connecting with them in the beginning?
For sure. Yeah. Connecting with Lokesh and Kunjpreet in the beginning was super exciting, especially because, they're literally in India and I personally had never been to India. Plus their business and what they were building towards was something that I was also really interested in as well. So as you already know, they're building towards a sustainable future by using waste and then turning that into bricks. And I thought that was an ingenious idea. So from the get-go, like their energy, their passion, their positivity about building their business and going through the program with them was a super rewarding experience because of the fact that they were already such a great team. So at first, it was a super exciting challenge that we took on together, and it felt as if we had been working together for a while. So it was a perfect match, I think, done by yourself and others within the Schulich Startups team. So thank you.
You're welcome. That's really cool. And how about Lokesh or Kunjpreet? What do you remember about meeting Olivia and the type of contributions that she was making to the team?
So the one thing I observed that you guys made a perfect team. What we can say that, because Ramya was also a civil engineer earlier, and then she was into the MBA, and we both are civil engineers. So she generally, she just grasped whatever we were saying to her. Means these are the technicality of our product and all these things, and then she was in business also, and then we had Herman. So he was mechanical engineer, and I was having lots of trouble with the design. So we just solved these things very quickly. Means it was a perfect match for us. And then we had Olivia, who she was like she was a leader from the Canada team. Means she was gluing us together. Means we were going in here and there in other direction, but she just said, guided us, guys, just get those things done, whatever we have in our hand right now, and then we will think on other things which we do not know right now, but let's do whatever we have. So these were literally plus points for us. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and
Awesome.
adding to Lokesh, I think that time we were facing, so because we both are civil engineering student from technical background, no finance or we can say like management experience. So I think there this schoolish team and as well the Herman from the York University came to very handy. I mean, Ramya helped us with building financial model with our cash flow projections for next 5 to 10 years, and Olivia helping us with the operations roadmap. I mean, the whole schoolish team were very helpful in planning out our way forward, how we're gonna expand, scale, and our with GTM and everything. So I mean, this was something that we didn't had that time in the team, and they came really handy that time. And I'm really thankful to all the three wonderful people, Ramya, Olivia, and Herman.
That's so awesome. Thank you for sharing that, and we appreciate those words. Diksha, would you like to ask a question as well too?
Sure. I think this is for Kunjpreet and Lokesh. Like you won second place in Together 2021, and you're still working on your business, and you've also renamed it. I understand you mentioned about how Olivia was supporting you during Together 2021, but how do you feel that the program, the initiative supported you in you doing what you're doing today and in taking your venture forward?
So yeah, means there are few points I just wanted to highlight. That the first thing we learned in those 7 days, because we are in India and means we have different time zones. So we were working till the late nights. It's around 2 p.m., 3 p.m. We were sleeping on those times, and then we had our day-to-day things also. So on those days, we get to learn that how international collaborations work and how we can how we have to work in company when we will do for the international go for the international partnership and all these things. And then we were also working like a corporate, means we had different people from different segment. So before that we haven't heard about much on the financial side and all these things. So those 7 days gave us a brief idea about how a company or a corporate work. So those were the foundations for us. And then about the program, so program had different it was the uh, divided into different segments or different days when we had our personal coaches, personal mentors also. So they had shared their own stories, how they had started. And from those points, from those their stories, we had correlated it with ourselves. And then we have started thinking in those directions, like how we have to guide our startup. So those personal inputs from the mentors and from the team were really helpful. And then again, there was a financial support also. As we were winner, we got 12.5K Canadian dollars. So during second wave of COVID, so that was the amount. Just because of that amount, we were survived. Otherwise, we were not able to run our operations and all these things. So yeah, miss, on those 7 days and later on this program, that program actually builds the anguirus on those initial days. So yeah, these were the literally critical time, and we got a lot from this particular program. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. And could maybe you could add as well, just give us an update on where the business is at now and how you're doing.
So now we have our own plant. We have developed our own machineries, and now the products are in line. And you can also see our bricks. The bricks is also here. Yeah, we have built our first pilot room also. So now we are now ready for the market. Means the product is almost done, and the plant is already in apply phase. So now we are going to launch our product into the market also. Yep.
Amazing. Congratulations.
Yeah.
That is really exciting to hear the story continuing and see your progress. Diksha? Diksha, do you have another question?
Yeah, it's for Olivia. Hi, welcome. So the team is doing great, and then you've been associated with them. You were with them during the initial phase when they actually needed support while ideating. How do you feel? How do you feel being associated with them?
Yeah, it feels amazing to have been a part of their journey, because as you heard, I think they were already started, and then as a part of their growth through Together 2021, they've been able to continue on their positive trajectory. So I think being able to be a part of that journey and having that hands-on experience to support them through that, I think has definitely been such a rewarding experience. And something that they had alluded to was literally the community that was built through Together 2021. I think that was also an amazing part of having been a part of the experience, like the mentors, the instructors, the other students that we got to work with, so Harman, Ramya. So I think overall the experience as a whole was super rewarding as well. So nothing short of amazing.
Olivia and team, you'll be really happy to know that as part of the program, like an evolution in the program back from 2021 now to 2023, is that we now have this extended period where we compressed everything you did into that like 1 week, right? Like it was working around the clock. And then what we heard from feedback from groups like yours was like, this is amazing. What if we could actually get more time with the mentors and more time with the teams. And so now what we have is we have like a whole 90-day, period, and the mentors are working on a regular and ongoing basis. So there's this extended relationship that's being built. And then, as we said earlier,
Fantastic.
there's all the students that are working, and then there's this like dedicated team from the Hyderabad campus from Schulich working as well too. So we'll close up with a question for each of you. Can take this one after another, which is, what advice would each of you give to the students that are going to be part of the Together 2023? And then we can do your advice for the Schulich students, Olivia, and then with the team, we can get your advice from the student founders from India as well too. So Olivia, I'll have you go first and then let the team wrap up.
Fantastic. Yeah, great question. And I would say the key advice that I would have for the Schulich students, and three things I would say is, first is to be learning sponges. Like you, through this experience, you'll learn from the Indian students, you'll learn from the mentors, the instructors, you'll learn from Chris, Vito, Cherry, every speaker that you'll come across throughout the whole experience, especially now that it's been an extended experience. I would highly recommend everyone jump in, register for that. And I would say the second advice I would have is to really seek out that hands-on experience and really challenge yourself as you go through this experience, which means you're going to have an awesome relationship built with the Indian team, which means that you can then take those learnings for your own business, or you can continue your relationship with the Indian team as well. So make sure you go all hands in, be willing to roll up your sleeves once you're in the program. I think that's super important. And then I would say the third one would be overall being open to listening to a lot of feedback that you're going to get. I think being able to take the feedback and actioning it during the program and after the program is going to be huge. So definitely a rewarding experience that you can't get anywhere else. So I'd highly recommend, if you haven't already applied, definitely apply. You definitely won't regret it. So thank you.
Yeah, so I think I'll go next. I mean, I totally agree with Oliver. I had similar thoughts and advices for everyone here. Or I can add on. So you'll also get connected with the other institutions. So we had Startup Rescue and similar other supporting partners. And being top 10, we also got a chance to connect directly with them, and we got a chance to be part of their cohort and accelerator program. So I think it's not only the Schoolish or Startup India, but you can also seek help from the supporting partners. I don't know what's added here to this new program, but definitely they also can bring expertise, mentors, and help. So Startup Rescue again connected us with another company that was really helpful to had interaction with them. So such as you can also try to connect with the supporting partners to the program and seek help from them as well. Yeah.
And there are few other things also. Means you are going to have story from Chris. So these are literally means you are not
Yes.
going to get anywhere else in any other program. So that is the first thing you have to keep track on it, and then you have to be ready for those next 7 days, because you are going to literally stressed with your physically and mentally, because you have to do overworking. So that is going to be happen in those 7 days. And then during the program you have to identify how your team is going to miss, how you have to match all those puzzles, because for this challenge you have to think differently, and for your startup or for your idea, apart from this there are different challenges, but on those 7 days you have to just focus on what is in your plate and how much you have to do at that moment. So these things are going to really going to help you in this program. And then take all the learning and the feedbacks and keep evolving whatever the assignments and the challenges are coming to you and the feedbacks are coming to you. So you have to keep evolving your whatever your initial idea was, and on the 7th day you will be completely different, with a different idea or a different team, with lots of learnings and lots of balls in your cannon. So So yeah, means you just start grasping as fast as you can and keep evolving yourself in those 7 days, and then take all the learnings with you. Yeah, these are some things I just wanted you guys to have from this program.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
also, sorry, here can I add one more thing? So,
Yeah.
so if anyone of you looking to expand to Canada, be in touch with schoolish team, mentors from the Canada region. So yes, if that would be really helpful if someone is looking to expand in Canada. Yes.
Thank you, team. Thank you so much. I think it just makes me feel so proud that the program could actually help you take your entrepreneurship journey a little forward. Thank you for sharing your experiences. Thank you, Lokesh. Thanks, Olivia. Thanks, Kunshi.
Thank you for having us here. Thank you so much.
Thanks
you so
everyone,
much.
and good luck getting back to the business, Kunshpreet and Lokesh. And we love having you come and report, because there's always some new developments and progress, and we'll look forward to those future developments as well too. And Olivia, you have a very important leadership role in strategy and program management at TELUS Consumer Health that you got to get back to now. And thanks for joining us before your workday started. So thanks. See you soon.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, we're excited to have our next special guest now, Cherry Rose Tan.
Thank you, guys.
Cherry Rose, thank you, Lokesh. Cherry Rose Tan is the entrepreneur in residence at the Schulich School of Business and doing a phenomenal job with her work with us. She is also a general partner with Renew Venture Capital, an exciting venture capital firm which she's helping to co-build, create, and get off the ground, which is doing good in the world. And it's very much in alignment with the spirit of everything that we're doing at Schulich and with Startup India at Together 2023 as well. She has over 15 years of experience in tech, innovation, and entrepreneurship, has built businesses in the blockchain and crypto space, has built businesses in the mental health and community innovation space, has been a guide and a supporter and an advisor to literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of companies that turn to her for support and her wisdom. And we're happy to have her here with us today to share some of her experiences as a mentor, now on repeated times as a mentor in the Together program, and talk about some of the things that she learned. Cherry Rose, welcome. And we'll take a few opening thoughts from you, and then Diksha and I have a couple questions for you.
Yeah, thank you so much for the warm welcome. And first of all, I just want to say that I am so excited for each and every person who is here right now in this room for really this program launch. I think as Chris mentioned, this is my third time being involved with Together. And I think what's really exciting, just to share some of my experiences from previous years, this will be my third year being a mentor. And I think one of the things that maybe I'm speaking for myself, but also for other mentors, like what we get so excited by and why we keep saying yes, and coming back every single year is just really seeing all of the energy and really creativity of the founder teams that come in. And it's so inspiring to also see the collaboration of sort of ideas and knowledge and insights that is happening across ecosystems. And I know this was mentioned just even in the previous conversation that, when we're thinking about opportunities, we're thinking about maybe opportunities in our region, but there's also opportunities to even think about how can this idea also expand to other markets. And so that's been a really powerful thing that I've loved, that the collaborative spirit, I think the boldness of everything that's happened. And then also for the mentors who might also be here right now in the program launch, the other part that I'll also share is that this experience is rich, not just for the mentees, but also for the mentors. And so I'm really honored to just share as well that I was just thinking about my experience last year as a mentor, and I had the honor of being paired with a mentor from India who really specialized in service-based business. And the two of us were together mentoring this founder team that was so passionate about building out mental health services, for a very particular demographic. And it was amazing being able to really tag team and to be able to learn from each other and to be able to really contribute in that way. So just a bit of tidbits there in terms of some of my experience, especially from last year, and how it's been impacted, has impacted me.
Thanks for sharing that opening, and I'll take the first question for you, and then I'll turn over to Diksha. So my first question is, like, in addition to that, I like knocked on your door with the Chris knock and said, "Hey, want to help on something new and something cool." What is it that makes you like keep jumping up to do mentorship, and like both in terms of like this program, but in general, what inspires you to do that work?
Yeah, I think a big part is really about not only being able to give back, but actually staying, if this makes sense, also staying like on top of your game. I think for us who are like mentoring, it's really interesting because sometimes you've been in the industry for a long time. And I think it's actually so important that when you've been in an industry for a long time, that you're actually making intentional efforts to mentor, because it's these people who, you know, people like yourself, people in the program right now who are actually coming in with the next generation of ideas. Like, you're on the ground right now in your particular industry, in your particular expertise. I might not have the same experience as you, and you're kind of seeing the trends that are happening in your community or the trends that are happening in your industry. And I think as maybe a perpetual, serial entrepreneur, I find that really exciting. Obviously, you can see the energy of it, but I also think it's also very strategic as well. It's like, it's always important to stay connected with that energy, to stay connected with that insights. So I love sort of that win-win energy that comes about.
Great. Olivia, we just want to understand what were your key highlights, highlights of experience of mentoring the students, the aspiring entrepreneurs during the program?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great question. I would say the biggest part for me was actually seeing how the mentees really like evolved as founders over the course of the time with Together. Because I feel like even from the get-go, just in the first call that I had with them, when we started having the mentorship calls, they were so passionate about their idea. Like, they knew, speaking about last year, for example, they knew that they already wanted to work in mental health. They had this really bold vision of how they want to help youth and other people like themselves. But what was really cool in the course of us having the calls and all of that is to see how they became more confident in themselves around, like, hey, you know what, this is not just like an idea now, or this is not just like a thing that we're saying, like, this can actually be real. And also this feeling of, oh, like, not only are we growing as students, are we growing as founders, but we're also feeling like that we have like the power to be able to ask for different things that we need. Like, hey, can we ask for this resource? Hey, what's your opinion on this part of the business plan? Hey, do you know of a particular person who's done this before that you might be able to connect us to? And so that was just really cool to see how like they were able to grow and to really take ownership of themselves as like, hey, this is an idea that not only are we passionate about, but we could really see ourselves as entrepreneurs in the future. And I absolutely love that.
Great. Just an addition to that question, any feedback and any suggestion for the mentors coming on board for this edition to have, what sort of a mindset should they have? What sort of opinions feedback should they be giving to the entrepreneurs, the students that are coming on board this year?
Yeah, I would say the two things that come to mind around maybe the way that we show up as mentors that I found was really helpful and I think impactful from previous years. I think one is to just come with a sense of readiness and almost like giving. I think to acknowledge, there are mentees in this program where maybe it's the first time that they're exploring entrepreneurship. And then there's also other mentees who might be more used to these kinds of programs. And I think regardless of the team that you're paired with, to really share with them, hey, in us working together, this is the way that we can engage. I want you to be able to ask questions. I encourage you to like reach out to me by email, even outside of the calls. And that's something that I was very transparent with my mentee team about, because sometimes they would be in the calls sharing an idea or be talking about something, and maybe they needed extra time to chew on it. And then in between the calls, they kind of had something that they wanted feedback on. And they were actually really great and proactive about that in terms of actually sharing, hey, like, can we share with you these pieces of the pitch deck and kind of get your opinion on it? So I think just being transparent with the mentees about that is really important. And then the other piece as well, I would say, is that don't be afraid to own your expertise and your story, and to also be able to contribute that to the mentees. And so, for example, the mentor that I was paired with last year that I was mentioning very briefly, what was so cool about that is that he really came in with a very different skill set for me. Like, my skill set is very operational, it's very ecosystem builder. And I so appreciated, a mentor that was very technical in skill set, very much from the agency side, knows how to really launch technical products, especially from early stage. And so it was really great to see him also own his experience, and then us playing off on each other.
That's really great advice, and definitely important things for the mentors that are watching or listening to take to heart. Well, one last question before we wrap up, Cherry Rose. So that's the advice to the mentors. What do you think you can reflect on your team, or you're also leading one of the initiatives at Schulich with the Office of Innovation and Entrepreneurship, our mentorship program for our founders. What do you think are the keys for the founders who are listening today in terms of the spirit or the preparedness or the kind of the approach that they bring into that room as a mentee that then will unlock the most possible out of the mentor?
Yeah. Chris, when you were just talking about, I think, maybe some of the mentorship initiatives that we're already doing at Schulich, and I'm just reflecting back on experiences. I think the most important thing that I want all of the mentees here to know is that, like, your efforts, your time, and who you are as a person, that you are valuable. I think sometimes when we talk about even this idea of the mentors, mentees, when we're using some of these titles, I think sometimes there's a shyness that might come out from some of the mentees, feeling like, okay, we're putting the mentors on a pedestal, they're amazing, and all these kinds of things. And, I think for all of the mentors are coming here into this experience because they see that you have potential. Like, we're so excited about working with you. We're excited to see the insights, the trends, this business plan, or just some of the ideas that you've got in store. And at the same time, for you to know that, maybe speaking for myself, who's been a mentor for a very long time, that I get so much value when I talk to my mentees. And so I hope as well that you really value your time, and also know that you have power in that relationship, that, if you feel like, hey, I want more out of that mentor, and I'd love to reach out to them, as I said, like in between calls, or, hey, I know this wasn't initially on the agenda, but I would love to bring this thing to screen share and to ask them what they think. All of that is really welcomed. And so I'm so excited about, I think, the journey that we're embarking on. And yeah, well, welcome to Together 2023.
Awesome. A final word from you, Diksha.
I thank you so much, Sherry. Your contribution to the program has been of immense importance, and the mentorship, the guidance that you've provided to our students. And I'm sure all these students joining us today are really looking forward to connecting with you during the program. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great. And over to you, Diksha, to introduce our next guest.
So I would now like to welcome Mr. Sumir Chadha, co-founder Steam Pro. Sumir is no newcomer in introducing products and building thriving communities, which makes him the creative machine at Steam Pro. From launching strategic consulting products at Gartner to India's first waves at Marlboro, Sumir loves bringing imaginative methods to madness. Currently, he's working on his new startup, Teleport, technology solution for the hospitality and real estate industry and their new age customers. Over to you, Sumeer.
Thanks so much, Diksha, for having me, and thanks for the super kind introduction. Hi, Chris. Good to see you after a while. Really smooth hairstyle there. You're looking like one of them soccer stars. Yeah, I mean, it's a great thing. I'm super excited to be here. This is my first time here as one of the panelists, so super excited, super psyched about that. I mean, I got in touch with Shulik in 2019, 2020 when I decided to move countries, when I decided to move from India to Toronto, and like any big move, it was overwhelming. Just the move, just the fact that now I need to probably just set up business, figure out my make inroads into a completely new sort of like environment. So it was overwhelming to say the least. But I will tell all of you all this, that my first introduction with Shulik and Chris and the entire ecosystem of startups that you guys mentored, it was easy after that. It was I had a plan. I got to know amazing amount of people. Great networks were unlocked, and suddenly there was this method to madness which was there in my head, and suddenly I could see things clearly. So much so that initially first few days of my first few days in Toronto, my initial mood was to probably get myself a job, bootstrap the entire enterprise, just earn something and reinvest and put the whole business thing on sort of like a back burner, so that I start understanding the country first and then start pitching my own business. But once Chris and others started mentoring me and everything, I was just so soaked in this amazing network of people who are super eager to help out, that there was not even a single question in my mind that business is the way to go forward. This startup, the time is right now, and thanks to you guys, all of you all, for making that happen for me. I did not waste any more time, and yeah, it was get going from that point.
And tell us, thanks for sharing all of that. And I can remember meeting you and having those first discussions, and the enthusiasm and the vision that you and your brother had for the business. I think it's really fascinating that you're building the business in Canada. You also have your business that you're building in India at the same time as well too, and really just a true example of that bridge between the two countries. Do you have a couple of words for advice, because you've gone through? Maybe quick, you can tell us where Steam Pro is at these days, in terms of where you've gotten to, and then maybe a quick word of advice for the founders from India that are building their businesses on some things that you'd like them to think about.
Awesome. So where is Steam Pro at the moment? Where is Steam Pro Canada at the moment? So again, thanks to the your introductions, Chris. I met up with a few people. So Steam Pro is basically, with Steam Pro, we're basically trying to democratize hydro wellness and trying to take it to each and every home. The basic product is a steam unit, and we want to have a steam shower in every bathroom. And so with that sort of philosophy, we enter the market. Now, this is typically a hardware product with a lot of moving parts. So my first step really was to understand how to set up a hardware sort of a company or startup here in Canada. To which your introduction with Ron Seiden was amazing. He's a powerhouse of a fella. I met him quite a few times, and he has been my mentor in terms of the manufacturing side of things. So the first things where Steam Pro is right now, we are getting our MVP certified so that we can start selling in North America. We are almost there. Should be another 15-20 days, and boom, we should be ready to launch in all of North America. And all of this is because of the networks that were opened up because of the conversation with you, Chris. In addition to this, I have been in touch with lawyers We also did a name storm exercise trying to change our brand name because our brand name in India was working fine, but when we moved to Canada, there were some trademark issues. So we came up with a few amazing brand names, and once we are ready to launch, I'm pretty sure we're going to use one of them, the one that you guys came up with. So that's there. In terms of I've unlocked amazing networks to start raising funds and capital to start funding my growth and scaling up the startup. So all of that, the first step really I got to know is getting the unit certified, and then I can take it to market. In terms of what my advice will be to my fellow Indians who are out there trying to come to Canada, set up their own startups and everything. It's two things that are very clear for me. One is hustling, of course, and that comes by default. When you're in a startup, hustling is the name of the game. The second thing is networking, and this platform right here is just going to be tremendous for each and every one of you. The one thing, being a part of Together 2022, looking at this from the other side, I could see the excitement amongst the people who are attending it. But on the other side, I also saw eagerness from the panelists to help out. People were ready to share their own networks. People were, ready to give you time, give you meetings, hear you out. So just do not be shy. Just be forthcoming about your intentions. And yeah, just go out there, make your presence felt, pitch. And it's good days after that.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us. And like a quick shout out, which you gave, and just to expand on, Ron Seiden, who helped you on the manufacturing side, is a Schulich alumni from 1968. And so he's a powerhouse in his 70s and has done so much in the world. And this just shows you like these networks that you described, how they work and how they collect together. I don't know anything about manufacturing as it relates to creating a product in STEAM in your world. And you know so much about it already, but those final pieces of doing it in Canada and that, like, it wasn't about knowing the answer. It's about knowing where to find the answer, who could answer the question, who can we connect you to? And that Schulich alumni base is more than 41,000 active business people in the world. And you better believe that whatever question is that we have, somewhere in those 41,000 people, the answer is there, right? And that knowledge and that insight is there. So I really enjoy that story. Thanks for joining us, and we'll look forward to more updates on the business. Thanks.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. Good luck to you all.
Thank you. Thanks. Now, our next guest we're here to introduce is my friend and friend to the Together series program, to the Schulich School of Business, Sultan Akif. And he is a keynote speaker. I'm going to tell you a little bit about him. He's also an account executive in unicorn and high growth startups at Microsoft. Anytime you get to put the word unicorn in your title, I think that's pretty cool. But this gentleman is far more than the things that he's doing these days with Microsoft, which is amazing in and of itself. In his career, he has done more work than anybody that I know to unleash human potential by helping people, by helping young people, by helping organizations, educators around the world transform. He's a published author, and he's traveled and inspired leaders in over 80 countries in the world, and leading to major youth empowerment movements and conferences that he's both set up and been a key party to. And even bigger than this, he's built 38 libraries in 10 countries in the world for socioeconomically disadvantaged communities. And there's more, and there's more, and there's more. And he's just, someone, one of those people in the world who, when it comes to the energy and the big smile, it just lights the room. And I love it when we get together, man. How are you doing?
I am doing great, Chris. Thank you so much for those kind words, brother. I love you too.
We're excited to hear from you today, and we'll turn the floor over to you to address the students and everyone who's here today.
Amazing. Thank you so much once again. How's everybody doing? I have the Hyderabad campus pinned, my friend. Yes, I can see the hands going. I'll do a wave out here. The reason why I have you pinned, my friends, is today is all about you. For me, I changed my flight so I could be here today because I absolutely love what Chris, Vito, and the team are trying to do and the way they're empowering entrepreneurship. But to me, it comes down to you. And even if one of you takes one piece of advice from my speech today and it makes a difference in your life, that is what this will always be about. So without further ado, life is short, life is precious. I'm going to jump into this with all my heart, with all my energy. And all I ask of you is just to open your heart and your mind. I'm going to take you to Colombia. I just built one of my libraries in one of the most challenging, violent places in the world, what used to be a very, very, very challenging environments for these kids. And it was a prison, and I built it, and I was told I wasn't going to come out of that. I was told there's all kinds of issues that were going to happen. I went in there with an open heart. I went in there to make a difference, and I walked out of that space in many ways a changed person, because a lot of kids just stepped forward when given an opportunity, and they joined hands with me to make this beautiful space. And as I was exiting, I thought through this really old saying, and I'm going to say it in Hindi and Urdu, and I'll translate it for everybody else. And it goes like this, who doesn't speak the language. It goes like this: Meri diwangi pe ye hosh wale behas farmaye. From a distance, my actions seem illogical, irrational, leaving the safety of employment and all of those things and putting myself in danger. And then it goes on to say, Magar pehle inhe diwana banne ki zarurat hai. You first have to fall in love with your purpose, your reason for existence. Then everything you do will just seem logical, and everybody will join you in that dance that you're doing of life, full of energy. And that is my first message to you, my friends. I only have 3 messages for you today. Are you truly powered by purpose? As you're going forward and building your business plans, building your unicorns, building your startups, do you truly and deeply care about the problems in the world that you're solving? And if, as you sleep, and I'm not talking about pitches, I'm not talking about things we say on stage, I'm talking about those moments right before you go to sleep. Do you deeply care about the problems you're solving in the world? And if the answer to that isn't an overwhelming yes, then I ask you to reconsider your business model. I ask you to deeply connect with why you are doing this. Are you truly powered by purpose? And keep searching till you find that, because building a business is hard. You're going to have so many challenges. My speakers before me, many of you who that I know, touched on persevere, and you take things to a whole different level is when you are doing it for the right reasons. So that's my first message. Being powered by purpose in your business, in your life, is essential, because not only will you find business success, you will find that elusive joy that escapes so many as they go through this experience that we call life. My second message to you is to take care of yourself. And that's a weird message to talk about entrepreneurship when we're talking about building dreams. I've been blessed to do many things in my life. Thank you, Chris, for that warm introduction. And from the bottom of my heart, I will say this: as you embark on this ambitious journey to change the world, build in the measures you need to take care of yourself. Take care of your body, take care of your mind, take care of those around you, and just make sure you have a support network where you can recharge and rejuvenate. My purpose in my life is a one-line statement. I want to set change makers in motion. I want to help you make the biggest differences in the world. And the only way you will continue to do that is if you are building in the right measures to take care of yourself. Be powered by purpose, take care of yourself, and then you will find that magic starts to happen. Things start to come together in ways that you would never expect. And then my third message is perhaps the most profound one. You'll see many TED Talks that I've done and all of that. You know what? I'll tell you a little secret. I approach every conversation as if it's my last. And one day that'll be true. And I don't mean to sound morbid, but that gives so much authenticity to what I'm sharing with you today. If our lives never intersect again, am I giving you something that you can take and make a dramatic difference in the world and in your life? And that's my purpose. That's what gets me to not really care about any of the rules or anything, and to deliver my message with all my heart, with all my energy, because you know what? That's how we are able to connect beyond the words and the artificiality of sometimes business transactions to a place of authenticity, love, and growth. So here's my third message to you. Be fearless and ground your business and the way you structure your life in things that are deep and meaningful to you personally. So in about 48 hours, I will be diving into the ocean and doing the world's toughest race. It's called the Ironman. You swim for 4 kilometers, you bike for 180. That takes me about 7.5 hours. And then you do a full marathon, which takes me 42 hours. So 42 kilometers. So all in all, it's about a 16-hour grueling journey. And as my body crumbles down, I think about what is it all for? Kind of like building a business, like what is it all for? And in my mind are my kids. And those are the ones that keep me going. And all the things that I want to do in my life, that if, I'm not taking care of myself, if I'm not grounding, if I'm not being a good role model, how am I going to go do that? And honestly, when all else fails, when all the training fails, that's what gets me through. And that will be happening again in a few hours. And where I take that and build that into something that I want to leave you with, probably, I never narrate the story I never narrate it in prep speeches, because it has to be delivered to you with a certain authenticity. And I go back to those places when I start narrating it, is when I say, make your business personal, make it grounded on something you deeply care about, whether it is going off and changing, gender equality, whether it's about whatever. So why do I build libraries? Much like the background we're seeing back here. Well, I'm going to be opening a library next week, and I narrate a story every time I open a library. And these are kids from socioeconomically disadvantaged communities. Sometimes it's deep in the Himalayas, sometimes it's in urban centers, but riddled with violence. And everybody's telling them they're not enough. And I tell them to come into this library, and we're launching the library. Everybody is, and I build with my own hands. So everybody's like worked a lot. Everybody just wants to have pizza. Nobody wants to hear a speech. Nobody wants to, have all of these conversations about life. It's like, give me the dough, please. And here I am, I say, I won't take too much of your time. And this is what I share with them. I say, I've got a story for a person whose family fell on hard times, and he had to drop out of school. He could not afford the uniforms. He could not afford, the fees and all the fancy things you need to actually go to school. And life around him was very tough, and everybody reminded him of his poverty. We tend to be in a society that very quickly reminds you when you don't have enough. So anyways, he took his books, studied through privately, got really good grades, went to a university, but life didn't get any better in terms of financial parts. He still had to survive on very little. Just to give you context, we're talking about $20 a month. So no matter where you are in the world, that's not enough to properly eat and do all the things that you need to do. But he kept on doing and at this point the kids are like phased out. I go, here comes another fairy tale. Like, why are you telling me this? What's the point? Can I have my pizza, please? And I'm like, okay, the pizza's coming. But what happened was, just to make ends meet, he would cycle an hour and a half each way. And you know what? Just thinking through why he was doing it, just being powered by purpose. And in the middle of all that was a little bookshop. And it wasn't a bookshop. It was a spaceship where he could disappear. You could look at the pictures that said, one day I'm going to go to this place. I'm going to talk to this person. I'm going to go meet these weird looking people, because everybody he looked at looked like him. And I'm going to experience all these cultures. It was so far out there as a dream that it didn't even seem right to even imagine it. But that is the power of dreams. They fuel us. And I talk to the kids that, would you believe every single dream of that boy came true? He went to 80 countries around the world. He built businesses. He did everything he ever wanted, only to realize that real joy in life is in the service of others. It's in setting real change in motion. It's being your authentic self every single day. And when the world's telling them they're not enough, when you're going to go out to big startup competitions and you're going to lose, that's just how life works. A loss is a training ground for something great. Embrace it, my friend. Welcome to entrepreneurship. When that doubt surrounds you, when the negative emotions and people are, saying, oh my God, you don't have the right to be here. I just want you to remember this story. And I want you to remember this moment, because the boy who could not afford any books is now the man in front of you on a mission to build 100 libraries around the world, to fuel the startups and the unicorns in the world, to try and make a difference. But I never forget what it's all about. That is why I am here, to support Chris, to support all of you. And that is my message to you, my dear friends. I'm seeing Hyderabad right now. Can I get a wave from there, down there, please? Is my message resonating with you? Is the love flowing through? Because you, my dear friends, are unstoppable. I don't go and speak at charity events. I speak at business schools, because you know what? The world doesn't need another tin cup to change the world. The world needs our biggest and brightest leaders to go and connect themselves with their power of purpose and go on to build incredible businesses, but never forget what it's all about. Never forget that elusive joy is going to come in your balance sheet when you're doing it for the right reasons. And then building your business, going through the hustle, is going to be an absolutely incredible experience. Thank you for listening to me. I will leave you with this final thought. Chris, do I have 2 minutes, or am I over?
For you, absolutely. Yes.
Thank you, my dear friend. Well, I'll leave you with this. After doing all kinds of degrees and fancy titles, the title I'm proud of is a poet. If I told my parents that I was going to be a shire when I was growing up, they would have probably kicked me out. That's a joke. That means a poet. I think the folks at Hyderabad get it. So basically, this is a poem from my heart that I have for you, and it goes like this. Life is a gift, not something to be sold. It's a story you are writing, not one you are told. From a young age, we're taught to be in a certain mold, to chase after cars, beautiful body, and lots of gold. But before time runs out and our hand turns cold, let's reach out and hold someone that needs to be consoled. We will see magic happen. We will see our tribe form. We will see people come together like a raging storm, uprooting what is wrong. Joined in purpose, we'll march towards our goal. And no task and no pitch will be too big, because you're driven by your soul. But hold on, Sultan. Words are easy. I have responsibilities. I'm going to be steamrolled. All I will say is just focus on your actions, your drive, your sincerity, and not ultimately how the story unfolds. And when that day comes, when your light takes flight, you'll look back on this day and you'll smile with delight. You found the courage to break free from the mold. You lived a life of purpose till the days you are old. When you're in doubt, just remember, life is a gift, not something to be sold. It's a story you are writing, not one you are told. It has been my honor to be a part of this moment. Thank you so much, Chris, team, students, for having me.
Thank you so much, Akif. Thank you for inspiring and motivating all of us. There's just so much to learn from you. It's a pleasure. It's a privilege actually to have you here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah. Thank you, Diksha, and thank you, Sultan. And I say this to everybody who's watching today, all of the student founders from India, the students from campus in Hyderabad, and the mentors and everyone. If you don't have like some chills running through your body right now, listening to those words and listening to that poem, I know you do. I do. Sultan, I love hearing you speak. I love bringing to share your voice and your fire and your love with everybody, but I also love it because I love to hear it and it re-energizes me. Something you said today that I'm carrying with me, and I love this. I'm going to like loosely paraphrase it, but that you speak as if it's your last conversation when you're with people, when you're addressing them, and I love that. I hadn't heard you talk about that before. And I think that's something that is amazing that we should all learn from today, in addition to the other things you've talked about. Thank you for changing your flight. Good luck with the Ironman. We will all be with you from the Zoom here today, with you when you're taking those key like steps or strokes or cycles or all the things you have to do. So Godspeed and have fun, and we will see you soon.
Thank you so much, my friend. Take care.
You too. Okay, so now we're going to, thanks to all the speakers who joined us today, we're going to run through some of the key program elements before we wrap up for the morning, for the evening, for those of us in India. First of all, a special thanks to our community supporters who make this possible. It does take an army of organizations and people and donors to raise the funding for the prize money for the top teams, in addition to just the organizing teams and all the energy that goes together. City of Toronto is a crucial partner for us every year and stepped up and showed leadership right from the beginning, said yes on the phone the day that I called and said we had this wild idea of something that we wanted to do. The Consul General from India has been a supporter as well and got us out of the gate to show leadership, to show the business community that level of support. The Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce and organizations like Thai Toronto have been great community partners, helping us rally the community in Toronto. Tangentia Ventures and Vijay, the CEO founder there, always in as a supporter, sponsor. Tree Frog, an amazing startup visa program that helps students and founders come and get their visa to move to Canada. The Best Lab, the Lassonde School of Engineering, great engineering school here at York University. My Studia, another business that's involved in the immigration space and a platform to help students move to around the world, and a Schulich alumni building that. Y-Space, our incubator and accelerator at York University, and then some of our other key partners with the startup program from JGU, and then Contrarian Partners, Startup Reso, and Style Photos. All of your contributions are so valuable, and we appreciate your support each and every year that you step up to help us make this happen. Diksha, I'll turn over to you and give you the opportunity to also thank our resource partners, which are really important to the founders as well too.
Thanks, Chris. Yes, I would like to thank all our resource partners. We've been working very closely with them, and they're very happy to be onboarded and to partner with us with the program. I would like to thank Amazon Web Services for extending credits for all startups, all entrepreneurs associating with the program. I would like to thank Zoho, again, for extending the offerings for all the startups, as well as special incentives for the top teams. And StackBuy, again, offering support of their product, pro bono services of their product to all the startups, all the participants that are onboarded for the program. Thank you, all the resource partners.
And Diksha, one of the organizations I know has been a help that you wanted to give a shout out to as well is Freshworks.
Yes, I think, yes, Freshworks has been amazing. They've been of great help during the program. And again, I would like to thank Freshworks also for being associated and extending their services to all the participants.
Wonderful. Okay, moving along, let's look at the program overview, and we'll share screen on presentation again so we can help walk people through that. So a lot of you have read this online already, but this year, as I mentioned earlier, there's this extended program. We used to have it compressed into the 7 days. Now we have, registration started in September. We've done our resource partner event that Diksha mentioned already. We're here in these 3 days that are in front of us in the program launch in the weekend boot camp, and the speakers and trainers that we have lined up for you are a power pack group to help you really get ready to then submit the next level application and submit the next level so that we can take the top 100 companies from there. There's the opening day hackathon and boot camp that'll take place January 19th to 20th, and then a deep dive mentorship and training workshop that goes January through February. And as we talked about before, through this extended period of January and February, students working with the companies, the mentors working in extended sessions. So it's not all just trying to get everything compressed into the 7 days now. So we're really excited about that. And that will build us all up to the championship round. And the championship round will be where the top 6 companies are there to pitch and to talk about their businesses. And then we'll have a team of venture capital leaders who are ready to judge and score the businesses as well, too. What happens in terms of the days ahead? So for day 1, we have a session on pitch design with Ben Stacy. Ben Stacy is the preeminent pitch design strategist and leader in the Canadian ecosystem. And he'll be coming in to work with everyone to talk about his strategies and methods in terms of developing the best pitch possible. Then we'll be having a guest session with two of our Schulich entrepreneurs, Giancarlo and Aiden from Blade Filters. And Blade Filters is a student company, and you should all lean in and listen to this. A student company, two young men working with a third, a chemical engineer, but two young men from Schulich who in their early 20s have now built a business with more than $50 million in sales in the last year. In a manufacturing space around air quality, that's really interesting and compelling. So their story and their lessons will be super powerful. And then you heard Lokesh talk about, we don't want to miss stories. There's story time with Chris. There may be special guests who appear as well too. And I'll be talking about some of my life's experiences and journeys along the way as I'm meeting all of you. And then we have like our coaching session number 3, sizing the market, communicating on key metrics to judges, VCs, and revenue modeling. And we have Pankaj Thakkar, who will be coming with us, a leader in the innovation and startup ecosystem in India. And then coaching session number 4, the search for product market fit. And we have Siddharth, and we have a guest speaker, Vineet, who's coming as well too. So that is going to be really important in terms of how to understand in this early stage, do you have the right fit and what you're working with? And then we'll be having a fireside chat with myself and one of the top leaders and founders in the innovation ecosystem in India as well too. When we come back to the next round of things, then we've got to think about what happens next. Well, the deadline to submit for the next round for pitch and registration will be November 23rd. And then there's a whole team of venture leaders that are waiting in the background. I've got 20 of them recruited that will be reviewing and scoring the decks. And everyone who is in the top 100 from the submission will be getting detailed written feedback that comes back to them about their pitch. And then we'll be taking in the top 25 from that top 100 and making an announcement of who those top 25 are. And those top 25 will be going through the next level detailed hands-on mentorship program as well too. You'll be getting introduced to your Schulich teams, being introduced to your mentors, and then have a next level program introduction in terms of the details of what happens after that. So key parts of the bootcamp experience that people have talked about and have been part of the programming today, of course, is all the students that are involved from Schulich that are coming to help you, for the student founders, support you, do work for you, be this key super force team to get behind your businesses. The business experience is going to be one that's really, really unique and helpful. We're focused, as has been pointed out, on self-reliability, sustainability, and social purpose. So all the businesses will be, they all have commercial focus to them, but they will be thinking about what is their role, their place in the world, how is either their product or service and what they're doing, or how they're existing in community, in society. How are they giving back? How are they hiring in ways that make contributions to society? There's a lot of ways that businesses can make an impact with social purpose in the world. And we'll be looking across these categories and understanding that. And that's a key part of what you heard from Sultan today in terms of finding that key purpose. Moving along, the paired mentorship is a really unique aspect of the program. So it's not just that you're getting one mentor, you're getting 2 mentors. And that team is a team that is a mentor from India working side by side with a mentor from Canada. And that unlocks really interesting dialogues and conversations that bring global perspective, local perspective. And you know what? It's also created a lot of new friendships through the program and business relationships between the two communities. The mentors love meeting each other as well too. And we have extended mentorship sessions. So you get the introductions on December 12th, but then we have a series of sessions that span a wider period of time. And as opposed to being compressed into 7 days, now your mentors can give you missions, give you guidance. You can go away, work work on those things, come back, bring them back to the mentor, show the evolution, and you've got more time to iterate and to work within the program. And it's really a wonderful group of people that are going to be like valuable for the business, but just good people to know and good people to be connected to, and good people to tap into their networks as well as you're building and growing in your life. So continuing along, I mentioned some of the trainers that you're going to meet, but it's really an incredible group of world-class trainers that come from our ecosystem, that come from both Canada, come from India, and also many different, amazing alumni and instructors and professors from the Schulich School of Business participating as well. So you'll get to meet all of them and go deep dive with them. And then in terms of the program offering, what comes out of it, there's cash prizing for the companies, and over the last couple of years, in total of those 3 years, we've had more than $100,000 in prizing that we've handed out, and we're building our donations for the year as we speak, so that we can announce the formal cash prize. But the minimum it's been is like $20,000. It's gone as high as 40, depending on the fundraising exercise that we continue to go through. So we'll be excited to announce that soon, but it will be meaningful. You heard from Lokesh talking about how the prize money was a key part of sustaining them through a part of the pandemic where they had challenges. Now they have their own manufacturing facilities. So sometimes these key injections at a key moment in time can be really helpful. There's a global network of people that you're going to be plugged into. You heard the impact for Samir in terms of being connected to different people that were able to help on his business, international mentors that we've talked about, and then the knowledge workshops as well too. So together we'll work through all this and then bring you to place you into the hands of key incubators, key accelerators, a whole group of powerful organizations that Startup India has lined up that will then make introductions for the top teams to help them take that next step out of this program into working with other groups. Well, with that, it brings us to the end of the session, Diksha, and I'll offer a few final words, and I'd love for you to do the same. Thank you to everyone who joined us today. Thank you to everyone who spent the time as guests and speakers to share their thoughts and their insights. Everybody brought like great energy and a lot of like fun and insights, but humility as well to the conversation as well too. And I love that. I loved having and meeting and being with you in online community with all of the students that are going to be our founders in the program. I'm wishing you the best of luck. Looking forward to meeting you and seeing you throughout the program. I hope if you haven't already, you'll go and find me on LinkedIn. I'll drop my link in just a few moments into the chat there. Find me, let's connect, let's have fun, let's be friends, let's build great things together. And to my class who's with us from Hyderabad, I want to say thank you. I hope you'll hang on for a few minutes because I'm going to come in and visit with you for a few minutes online, just for a couple with you and Shrey after the session is formally over. And I want to say thank you to the team as well too. Vito, thank you for dropping my LinkedIn into the chat there. I want to say thank you to the whole team from Schulich who helped put this together. Vito and Swathi and everybody that's involved. It's an army of student volunteers and staff people behind the scenes, and to the team at Startup India as well. It's great to be out of the gate. Now it's just the beginning. I can't wait. I'm going to get to meet a champion and another couple champions in February, and you're out there right now and you don't even know it's you yet, or maybe you do. You're very confident. You know it's going to be you, but I can't wait to meet you and to have fun together and to like explore this journey. Diksha, I would like to turn over to you for closing words from Startup India.
Thank you so much, Chris, and thank you for sharing the details about the bootcamp. I'm sure it resolves most of the questions that we've been receiving in the chat window. We've had amazing speakers today. It was a great session, a lot to take back, a lot to work upon. And I look forward to working together, making this bootcamp a huge success. And thank you again. Thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you, Schulich team. Thank you, Chris, Vito, Swathi, and everyone, all the speakers, all the partners for joining us today, for being there, for supporting us in this initiative. And it's just great to have you all together. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Diksha, and thanks everyone. And we'll see you all soon in the sessions online.